SATSANG 4. Part 2. Quebec, December 5, 2019. Testimonies, questions and answers. Do you have any other questions about scalar waves, or shall we move on to general questions? Come on. General questions, then. Who wants to ask a question? Sister. Me, it's not a general question, it's in addition to the flood. Everything, testimony or whatever. Sister. No, in relation to Feham, there is something else that came back to me. Feham. Yes, go ahead, but it's, Sister. I apologize for the little hands there, who are going to have to act this. But when Feham was talking about the flood, she mentioned that it's water from above, depending on where you are on the planet, it's not just water there. No, it's not. Sister. It's the snow she mentioned, snow, hail, ice. Yes, absolutely. She also talked about the other elements but, well, it's not important, we gave the broad outlines. Brother. It's a question from a sister who's not here, who corresponds with me, in the groups, in general, on Facebook. It's a question that I think we've already talked about, OMA had talked about it. I'll pass on to you what she asked me. She said, ask JLA to tell us what's happening with the organic portals. That's what she said. They don't dissolve, they disappear, there's no soul, there's no spirit, there's no consciousness, they're robots. But having said that, even we disappear. Laughter. Brother. There you go. The only difference is that at the moment of disappearance, before passing into total perception and bliss, you'll have what is called the ultimate consciousness that will accept because it sees the absolute. It is the fusion of being and non-being just at the moment of the wide paradise. But the organic portals, well, they become nothing. What do you want them to become? A cat. When it dies, we had a cat with LD, who left, who died, who came back to me in her original Sirius form, it was beautiful, exclamations. In the dream of creation. Organic portals, what do you want them to become? There's no such thing. Well, we don't exist already, so you can imagine an organic portal. Laughter. Another question. Sister, are you recording? Yes, it's recorded, of course. Laughter. I'm losing my mind, but not that much anyway. Laughter. Brother, my question is, with all the changes that we are going through at the moment, with all really all that has changed, well, starting today, in 2019, where are the deceased going? That was explained at length by OMA, since the liberation of the Earth. Brother, I'm talking about today. Well, it's the same thing. Brother. Okay. That is to say that the disembodied no longer pass at all through the astral-acontic spheres, that is to say the famous tunnel, the meeting with the so-called beings of light, the members of the family. They are put into stasis in an interdimensional level, that is not a place of manifestation of life like 3D, 5D, 11D, 18D, 24D, but in the atmosphere of the Earth, sheltered from the astral, in a stasis mechanism so that they can also experience the event. Brother, they are waiting. Yes, in stasis. Brother, but conscious. Yes, in the white paradise. In the white heaven, you are conscious. Brother, because when they say the consciousness will disappear, yes, it will disappear at the moment of the event, which is not just a planetary event, which is an event in the whole dream of creation and in all dimensions. It is a collective moment. Brother, there will be no more consciousness. But no more at all. Brother, well, what are we going to have? Laughter. This is a typical example of the kind of questioning of someone who lives the self, but hasn't yet discovered what is behind the self, you see. It's not a mistake, it's not a flaw, it's not a criticism, it's just a statement. Of course, as long as you do not live the truth, you always wonder what you are going to become. Do you think I wonder what I am going to become? Yes, before we knew all that, even I knew where I was going to go, I knew that I was going to take a tour of my stellar origin, Delta, and then afterwards, the Absolute. But now I don't even have to. But you can't understand it. Whatever words you put into it, you have to make the sacrifice of the self. Accept that consciousness is an illusion, a total disease, and there you're available to live it. And this is the danger we were talking about with Dominique, is to artificially maintain a consciousness. Anyway, we all disappear. But the conditions of disappearance in beatitude, well, they will be different if you put your consciousness in front of and projections linked to this consciousness. Since consciousness is a projection, you'll have more difficulties. But you cannot question yourself from the self, even the purest self, about what the absolute is. Only by letting go of the self, that is what has been called sacrifice, not only of the person. It is not a question of committing suicide or crucifying oneself, but it is in the conscious acceptance that you're prior to consciousness that you will discover the truth and say as I say, as by do, as all those who live it. There is no worse illusion and disease than consciousness. Individuality does not exist, it is a deception. We're inside each other and there is no one. When we say that, it is not concepts, it is an experience, I assure you. That doesn't prevent me from living and being with you, and letting the conscience express itself, and living agape, and being on the theatre stage. On the contrary, you transcend the theatre stage and you are in total availability, that is the agape state, you are no longer fooled by consciousness. Still, you have to see the illusion of consciousness. But that is what is called the eternal absolute I, who has nothing to do with consciousness. Beware of the confusion of words and concepts. You cannot evoke the absolute. You cannot say anything about it, it has been explained, it can only be translated by the agape state, which is an interface, but you must not stop at the consciousness. Consciousness is a swindle, a disease, it is something that is a decoy, like this world. But the consciousness cannot accept it. The character, yes, but the supraconsciousness, that is to say the self, which is also linked to spiritual pride, will never accept it. But as I say, let the dreamers dream, the main thing is that they live agape, and it will be at the last moment. But you can't question the absolute. Brother, that's where everything, for us humans, the deconstruction we have to do with everything. Of course, first we had to rewind the film, that is to say, rewind the film of the story, that's what we did, to discover the deception. Because me, at the time, when I was freed by the wave of life in 2012, I lived the absolute, at will. I close my eyes, hop, and at that moment, I am sucked into the black hole, I see all the worlds and all the dimensions around me, as with some theogons, but me, I do not move. For example, Castanete when he speaks, all the shamans and everything, they are attracted by the experience, when they see the snake and everything, the life cycles, they play the game, they are convinced that it is true, because they have not found the center. Me, when I have found the center, I stay at the center. I see all these worlds, I see all the consciousness and I know that all this is me, I live it and I really see it. At that moment, you can never be fooled by your conscience again. That does not mean that you will refuse consciousness. Since we are incarnated, we have a body consciousness, a physical consciousness, a historical consciousness. It is there, we might as well use it. You are not going to stay like an N, like that, and wait. That's it, I don't exist, I don't exist, I don't exist. Laughs. This, you have it, so this is called a derealization, a depersonalization, which is very well known in the Advait of Dainta, in non-duality. People who have studied the Advait of Dainta and who are stupid enough to say this body is going to go for a coffee. Laughter. No, you're a complete idiot. You're the one who's going to get coffee through this body. Laughs. You see a bit of the misunderstandings that come up, of people trying to conceptualize the absolute and not living it. But the self, at a certain level, is the enemy of the absolute. The self, the famous white light in which we are immersed, that is what creation is about. It is a trap, it is an illusion, but even more perfect than this world. Accept it, the freedom you're experiencing at that moment cannot even be qualified. You're still human, of course, with your faults, with your tricks, but you get through it all. And it's a relief you can't imagine. Brother, thank you. I'm going to make a funny play on words. Thank you for this little crucifixion, because I've just taken the fiction out of it. Thank you. Laughter. Any other questions? Come, come, come. Sister, I have a little testimony. A testimony. Then come here. Sister, which has a little to do with. Wait till you are sitting down before you talk. Sister, but I still speak loud enough, I have a good carrying voice. Laughing, I wanted to make a small testimony that is a little bit related to what we are talking about here. One day, as you know, I was prepared to live what I experienced in the month of November, so I experienced many things. That's what you've told us here. Black November. Sister, yes, that's right. Then it was one evening, and I went to bed and I had a lucid dream, and then I found myself in the white paradise. Then how I experienced it was, we have no more bodies, we have nothing left. But that's the joy. Oh yes, total joy. Sister, the ultimate joy. But I wanted to leave, I was leaving, I thought it was over, I was leaving my body. No way. Laughing. Sister, but no. What happened? I fell in my body, I fell in like a rock. Yes, that's it. Sister, hey there, then there, I was electrified in my legs all the way to the sacrum. Attraction. And there I was in my bed. Airy, airy, airy. Then I saw the electricity going up, then, airy, airy, agape, airy, airy, I embrace. Laughs. This is the beginning of the consummation. Sister, yes. Fact is, this is what I wanted to share with you. Because the electricity, yes, I see it, the electricity around my body, and then I was really electrified. I could see, they showed me the circuit and then it would pass, because I think I would have died otherwise. So, we have a lot of brothers and sisters who, among friends in France and elsewhere, who actually see all that. That is to say that in various and varied circumstances, not only in bed, they feel that they're leaving, they have to hang on to stay there. But they don't leave in the astral, they leave in the truth. They leave in joy. So, indeed, the white paradise is the great joy, but just behind it is the great silence and the great emptiness. Sister, yes, I knew it, I just went there. Yes. Laughing. No, we are staying right here. We're not leaving. Sister, there, he said to me, you haven't finished, you go back. There you go. And precisely, in relation to that, and even in relation to your testimony in November, you are living it. It is clear, but accept it, totally. Sister, totally. And there will be joy, even in the character, whatever the sufferings. Sister, apotheosis. Thank you. Sister, thank you very much. Sister, it also follows up on the topic we talked about this week, and then again this morning as well. Me, as far back as I can remember, I was about 4 years old, I can still see myself playing outside, then I just felt like going there, pointing my little finger, going back to the sky, to the stars. And then I wasn't sure why, but I knew I had to be there, that I wasn't of this world. Sister, of this world. There are many here who lived it as children. Oh my God, if you knew. Sister, then I tried, I was looking for a ladder where I could go very high to get to my house, laughing. Sister, but on the front of the house there was a ladder. Then in my little child's heart, I dreamt that I was climbing, the house was still on a hill, it was high there. I looked down, I said, oh my sweet, I am high. Laughing, then I went up, I said tablet, I'll never be able to touch that. I went up on the roof of the house, up to the ladder, and then I said, oh my sweet one, I looked up, I said, I'll never be able to go that far. So I came back down with some help from my little brother, because it was so high up that I was afraid to come back down. That's when I said to myself, I kind of let go, today, I can say it, I let go. And then I thought, it's going to be long. Laughing, all this time. I knew I was going to go back home, to the house, but I said it's going to be long. The years went by and then, the feeling in the physical body, feeling like I was in a prison, I felt like I was in jail, locked up. It's like, whatever can give me that, yet, I was happy, it was fine, but I had this feeling of being compressed, of being suffocated. It's the truth, it's even worse than a prison, it's a corpse. Sister. Yes, yes. It was really painful. Then at one point I asked the question, unintentionally, which I understand in retrospect. It was one day, and I remember the day, because it was Good Friday. I was home alone and then I just look at the time, 12:12. Then when I see some concordances, 10:10, 11:11, I have fun, I make my two fists up in the air. Yes, I'm going. Yes to what, I don't know. Laughing. It's like, I'm told inside, Diane, go lie down on the bed. I'm listening. So I go to my bedroom and lie down and, as soon as I'm relaxed, my body touches the mattress. Phew. I see it's the whole, there's everything and there's nothing. I say my sweet, I look at it but, I say, is it me? That makes me understand that the whole is understood in the tiniest grain of sand. You said, that moment, when you can't understand it with your mind. The mind, it cannot follow, it breaks down. Sister. It cannot follow it at all. No. I say tabouret. I say I am drunk at least. I am everything and there is nothing, it is, but total freedom. Total. Sister. Total happiness. I came back, I don't know how long it lasted, I came back into my body and there I understood why I was, this immensity, compressed in a shell of flesh, there I understood where this malaise came from. So the years went on, but it helped me, for example, it encouraged me. Diane, go on. And I can say, maybe for the past 3 years, what I didn't understand, I felt that there was something that came down inside me, a presence, because I don't read, I don't go on the internet, nothing, there was a presence that settled inside me and I was listening to all that. Then, as the months went by, I realized that the ego, how can I put it, from inside me, the presence was taking its place and the image that I was shown was like a mother who is on the verge of giving birth. You will understand, when the color fades and it fades more and more to help the birth of the newborn, it is as if the body of flesh, in etheric, it gets thinner, it no longer has its place. Well, I was saying, don't panic, we are going to hold hands and we are going to have fun together, we are going to grow up in all that, you will not lose your place, as they say, there. And in the last few months, what I feel is, I don't feel the confinement anymore, because the terms you're using, that's exactly what it is. I don't feel that confinement anymore, it's like I'm connected with the whole, it goes through the walls, I feel connected everywhere. You're connected to time zero. Sister. Oh, that's it, time zero? That's it, yes, of course. Sister. Okay. The shape is there, but that's the absolute. You can no longer be fooled by what you experience, by what you see. Sister. Oh, okay, right. Okay. Oh my sweet. That's perfect. Laughs. You've joined the all and the nothing. And as I explained, it's a freedom like no other. Because indeed, all those who have had near-death experiences, or those who come out of their bodies at will, I was doing that again last year, when you enter this body, you enter something that is cold, that is rigid, that stinks, that is corpse-like, that has nothing to do with life. Of course, as long as you have not lived it, but afterwards, it is useless, because you have to accept, in acceptance, that you are nothing, that you are an illusion, but that you are in it anyway. And that's true freedom, as you expressed it, inside and out. Everything else, the notions of energy, even if there are visions, things that are seen, who cares? Sister. Well, that encourages me, it encourages me enormously. Well, listen, you're already living the truth, what do you want? Laughs. Okay, encourage what? Since you're already living, there's nothing more to do. Sister. Just be. It's reassuring, but it's true that it's reassuring. As I told you, if I had been alone to live what I lived last year, to go out of my body, to go into to borrow any body of light, of Christ, of Mary, of any, that's when I saw that they were costumes, archetypes, which were, you see, but if I had been alone to live it, I might have been in a psychiatric hospital. Laughs. but as countless people live it, with different words, but it's the same thing. Sister. Okay, oh my God. It's the same thing. Sister. Great, good. Sister. Diane, you know, I would also like you to express what you told me, that you felt a great emptiness, and you saw the earth, you saw, it's good. Sister. Well, I'll dare, I'm usually secretive, I don't reveal, I don't talk, I keep everything to myself. I'm told it's time to talk. Okay. I'm going to leave with a picture so it'll be easy. This is very recent again. Okay, yes, imagine that you have the earth globe on one foot there, that you buy at the bookstore, okay, to make me understand. Not long ago, I was like that physically and how should I say it, I didn't get out of my body, nothing, I saw myself standing and the earth, the whole planet Earth was right there in front of me. Imagine the earth that is all there, that, the being that I was at that moment, I knew it was me, I was looking inside the earth, I was observing inside the earth. But, I said, it's impossible, you can't be, what was it? Yes, what I explained earlier, what I can do at will, what I can reproduce, as I said, with entheogens, DMT, psilocybin, Ebola, ayahuasca, ayahuasca sends you to the astral, and especially salvingarin. It's the moment, out of the body or in vision, in the same way, you're a point, and you know you're that point, and you see everything around you, and you know it's you. Sister. That's what I didn't know, I thought that, this is it, this is the absolute, finally, this is the junction of being and non-being, when you drop the shimmering of spiritual pride, of the white light which is nevertheless an incredible joy, you come to this. Sister. I was afraid that it's falsified or that it's, no. Sister. That it was like a little trickster that made me, no, she's the only one. Sister. I was saying. It is impossible, the mind, it cannot. No, it cannot, the mind, it cannot imagine that. It is the junction of being and non-being. This is what I was explaining to you, the same thing. I am standing in the center, at the edge of the black hole, that is to say I am able to maintain the consciousness at the limit of its extinction. I have sacrificed consciousness but, at that moment, I am able to see all the worlds, all the universes, all the dimensions, all the beings, all the creations, and I know that it is me. Sister. That's it. That's a certainty. But with the big difference that I have realized the absolute, I am not attracted by all these experiences. So, Carlos Castaneda, with the products he took, well, he was attracted to the snake, Ouroboros. He describes the colored worlds. This is still your creation, but it's not the truth. The truth is this central point that allows you, even if you don't understand, there are times when I've experienced it, it's still, you wonder what's happening to you, what? Because you don't see yourself anymore, you don't identify yourself through a body. Sister. That's exactly right. There's no more bodies. Yet you're a point, and you know you're everything else. Without a shadow of a doubt. Sister. That's a certainty. That's what Nisargadatta said. The only difference between you and me is that I know I'm God, you don't know that yet. So, not the God we're talking about, Yaldabatam, rather, in Sanskrit, that is, the source, if you prefer. But that's exactly right. So it proves that all the people who are in shamanism, who are in the Castaneda, the writings that we have, these are people who have been tracked by the dream and who describe particular universes to you, who are real in the dream, but who had no substance. The real joy is white heaven. The great silence is the absolute truth. It is when you join the two, being and non-being, that you are free. That is what I say all the time, that is what it expresses. You're in the body, but you no longer feel the confinement. Sister. That's it, actually. It doesn't mean that you're going to escape from the sickness, suffering or everyday human problems, but it changes everything. It changes everything, because at that moment, whether you want it or not, you really and concretely know that everything you see is you. There is no one. There is only you. And the quantum entanglement is the multiplication of the dream with infinite images, like the archetypes and the falsification of the icons with the great archetypes of this world. You're all holograms of me. And I can't help but love you. That's not a concept or moral conduct. It is the truth. How can I do anything but love? You can't. There's no enemy, there's no devil, there's no God, it's all you. And it is a great freedom as our sister expresses it, even if we are in this body, cadaveric, rigid, cold, dead, it is no longer embarrassing. We found each other again. It is exactly, said with your word to you, and your experience to you, the same thing. It's the same thing. Sister, thank you very much. Laughter. Thanks to you. So, I would also like, because it's something that surprised me this morning when I said hello to you, the ones I met, compared to the other days, is that you all told me you all feel wonderful. A lot, at least, everyone I've met. Laughing. Or the ones who weren't well, they avoided me. Laughs. But I found it surprising, this morning is the first morning when everyone says to me, wow, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. It is surprising. Sister, I'm fine too. Liz. Come. Laughter. You're fine, too? Sister, very well. Sister, all right, then. There you go. There you go. So, you see, it's simple. We don't need visions, we need to share. We need to be sincere. We need to be present. It's self-actualizing. It just does. The first step, our sister just said, when you're like this, there's joy, you don't know why. It's just a matter of accomplishing completely, of accepting what is, as I say all the time, letting time zero be, and you discover at that moment that your true home, that's where there's nothing left. It is not the wide paradise, because the wide paradise there are no more forms, but there is still a light. In the truth, the light is only a projection of the absolute. It is the first dream of creation. The initial flash, if you like, is the final flash, which has been called the solar flash. It's the same thing. It's come full circle. And when I say I'm in the center and I see the dimensions, I see circles nested like nesting dolls inside each other. And what is surprising is that one could say, they are nested, so there is the first sphere, the second sphere, the third sphere. When you try to zoom in on what is perceived, you see that the first and last spheres are totally interchangeable, interconnectable. This is difficult to describe in words. But one thing is certain, it is that when you live this, you have recognized yourself. And besides, the consequences in your everyday life are immediate. Because at that moment, your body will be transformed, your mind will be transformed, your thoughts will be transformed, your behaviors will be transformed, but it is not you who makes the effort, it is done by itself. And you are in what I have called the natural state, the eternal, absolute I, which does not depend on any creation, on any world, as Nisargadatta said. The universe will pass, the creation will disappear, you will always be there. But don't imagine that you have anything to do. Or to be. It puts an end to the engine of suffering, to the engine of the mind, to the engine of consciousness, and you can only see that consciousness really is a disease, that we ourselves have created, since there is no one and there is only us. This is unstoppable logic. And whether it is through the words of our sister who spoke before, whether it is the channelings or what I am telling you from my own lived experience, it is the same thing, said differently, but it is exactly the same thing. So there is a great difference between the presence, the self, and the truth. In the truth, you see the self as a total sham, as something unfinished. You cannot cheat the absolute. You either live it or you don't. Even like our sister before, who is unable to put a word on it. You don't have to call it absolute, Brahman or ultimate, but you live it. And you get it, because you lived it, even if you can't put it into words. Understanding comes from living, but not at all from intellectual grasping, or intellectual predation. Sometimes you can't find the words, but you know what you're going through anyway. And it's such a truth, even in relation to energy, visions and everything, that it's all a show. It's all show. Now, agape is the interface, as we have explained, it is the junction of being and non-being. But after agape, after the great joy, there is the great silence. Of course, when I say let the dreamers dream, especially those who are still in the vibrations, I live the vibrations too, of course, but I am no longer stopped by these vibrations. I leave them free, they are there, they are part of the dream, but I am none of those things. And paradoxically, it makes you lucid and you are totally present. Much more than the one who is in the self and who has not seen the truth, absolute, and who will feed, unconsciously, the stories. I cannot tell you stories, I can talk to you about concrete, material stories, lived at the human level, but I cannot project my consciousness. I don't want to, even if I can. In fact, I've stopped. Last year, I told you, I went out in any costume of light, that I borrowed to go see people, and they confirmed it, and they saw me, as you see white forms today, but they saw me in a very precise way, they knew it was me. I could even take the costume of Christ, of Buddha, of anyone, it was real. But it's no use. Be true, be lucid, be present, be loving, and care about nothing else. It's a direct path. It is much more than the path of childhood, it is the path of authenticity that is there as soon as you accept that you are not all that you see, all that you feel, all that you perceive. Awareness is perception and it is our true and unique home. Everything else is just a partition of the dream. Silence. Anything else? I'm looking at the time, sister. 7 p.m. Yes. 10 more minutes. Sister. That I lived, in 2008, Peter and I rented a small cottage in. Very beautiful, on the edge of a natural lake. The kitchen faces the lake. It's like eating almost on the water. A dog. And one night, I go to bed, without asking for anything. I already had a small mass of flesh after my left breast. All of a sudden, my eyes in the night, and then there was like a big star right in front of me, which sent, how do you call it, a laser beam, right there. I opened my eyes wide and then I let myself go, I didn't say anything. It kind of disappeared. I closed my eyes again, it went away the next morning, then the next morning I had nothing left. That's all I had. Thank you. Nothing more to comment on. Sister. I don't know what it is and I don't wonder. Exactly. Then don't ask me either. Laughs. Honestly, I don't know. Sister. Because I went through a lot of other things afterwards. With medication and everything. I was very, very low. I went through a 24-hour hell in the hospital. You know, I don't remember anything, the doctors found that I had done, X-triad. And I'm living with that, I don't even know what it's doing inside of me. I don't know, I live with it, and then I feel good. And then since I've been here, my heart's even hotter, and then, even last night, it paralyzed my right side here. It got all hot. I saw it bluer than that, and then I fell asleep in joy. And then I woke up really well in the morning. The purpose of the encounter, it's called an agape encounter, is to live agape. Whatever the manifestations, the visions, the energies, they do not call for an answer. I can explain to you, in relation to your lived experience, but there, I don't know, it can be, so many things, but it's not important. Sister. But, does that really mean a triad of Beck, 1? Sister. Beck triad. Well, you have to explain what that means, I heard that, sister. Well, the doctor told me it was a tear in the husk of the heart. A tear in the pericardium? Sister. Yes. Yes, that's right. Agape is the tear in the pericardium. It was explained a long time ago. Sister. But I don't remember anything. Inside me, it doesn't hurt. I've been living with this for 10 years. Yes. But now it's gotten stronger, you say. Sister. Oh yes. A lot since, besides, since I got back here on Sunday. Yes, yes. Sister. Thank you. Don't question yourself. Sister. No, I don't want to question myself anymore. Live it. and you will see that you will indeed have all the answers as soon as everything, precisely, these visions, these manifestations, that you accept, even if they are there, not so much, you must not drive them away, you must not fight, you must not oppose. But simply accept, as I'm trying to explain, to let them go through. Truth is right behind. Sister. Yes. What you are, in truth, is right behind. Sister. Did I take a lot of medication, even a good period of time, and then some of it was quite strong? I would tell the doctor, stop giving me that, you're freezing my brain. Laughing. Now, the doctor, twice a year, I used to go. Then I confessed, in front of the doctor, even if he told me, you're ill, madam, I said, I am not ill, it is a state that I am experiencing, different from what I was experiencing before, but I am not ill. Then the last doctor who treated me, I confessed that, look, you give me medication, I don't take it anymore, for a while now, I've decided not to take it anymore, not to come to appointments, I feel better and better. It's called empowerment, that is to say no longer depending on an external authority, even the most competent one, because the agape state doesn't need external things. And when you put yourself like that, in submission to a system, in this case a medical system, the poor don't live it. It is necessary to understand that when we are in this state, for those who do not live it, even at the level of those who are in visions and things like that, we are madmen, but then for those who are materialistic, we are truly sick. Sister. I was in psychiatry. But that's their point of view, they are right from their own point of view, they are right. Sister. I said, you helped me, but now I am helping myself. Exactly. So this is true freedom, or autonomy. Sister. And there, the doctor was like that. She had no choice but to accept my decision. Of course she did. It had to be your decision. That's how you became autonomous. Sister. That's right. I told her, if, however, but I don't think it's coming back, that I need help, I'll come back. It's been 5 years and I haven't gone back, and I don't want to go back. You're quite right. You're damn right I don't. Thank you. Brothers and sisters, bravo. Applause. Sister, thank you very much. Last thing, very, very quick, anyone? Come on. Sister, this fall I had an experience with an 8-year-old child. It was to help the mother that, big noise. Laughing. Sister, that's my chair. Laughing. Sister, she is a mother with 3 children, including a newborn. She has her oldest at 8 years old. She has Edged. Does that ring a bell? Yeah, Edged. Sister, that's right. And, this child, I've always been in contact with her since birth, and then, well, it's a problem at school, so I offered to pick her up after school and then do the homework session with her. But I knew that it wasn't the homework session that I wanted to do with her, it was more to be in contact with her outside the house so that it could take place in a calmer context, since there are other children at home. Then the mother, she was always resistant to medication, she didn't want to medicate her, but this year, let's say the disorder was more apparent and she started to medicate her. And when the medication started, it's like I felt like I had no more business there. That I didn't have any more, what I was bringing to her, I wasn't bringing to her anymore. Was my feeling good? Yes, it did. Then, I simply specify that the children who are labeled hyperactive, TDAH, are, most often, children who have been called indigo, crystal or diamond, who are not at all in their place at school, because they are connected to another form of information and education which is their own light. And of course, they are considered crazy by the educational system. Because they are not at all adapted to society and the world. Sister, then there are more and more. Well, there will be more and more, fortunately. Not for afterwards, but to experience the event, it will help. Sister, okay. Because recently, in the press, there was an article about children born after 2010. So, they are maximum 9 years old. And the article said that it was a generation in distress. I thought that was a really strong term, in distress, they are 9 years old. Then, that's it, you can see a lot of anxiety in children. So that's it. It's because they know they're here to live something other than what they're taught. They're locked up. Absolutely. They are related to something other than individuality, the mind of the person. This is totally true. I have a grandson, my first grandson, who brought me a drawing, one of his first drawings, because he's only 2.5 years old, collages that he had made in a learning day at school, and the parents were with their asses. They didn't dare give me the drawing, because I had never talked to him about it. He drew me a drawing of a whale with his baby, with the sign of Jonah, the child too. It was him. He had cut out a picture of the Mediterranean Sea, not far from where we were going to see the whales. He had signed it by cutting out a turtle, which is an extremely strong shamanic symbol that, as if by chance, corresponds to the symbol of the inn, where we went in the month of June. He gave me this drawing in August. Sister. From this year. From this year. It's amazing. He doesn't know anything about it. And he put exactly, in his collages, Phetom and his baby, the sign of Jonah, that is, the child, the innocent who goes into the belly of the whale, the sign of Jonah that there was in February of this year. And the parents, of course, my son is in the same state as I am, but they are wondering, where did he get this? Because they are connected to universal intelligence, quite simply. So, of course, well, they're not at all adapted to the school environment. They have a very high IQ, they're also often called zebras, they're children who are also called hyperpotential, who we can sometimes spot, but not always. They are children who have not taken many incarnations in this world or who are less used to the form than we are. They come from elsewhere, indeed. That's the point. Sister, thank you. Thank you. So we're going to stop because it's time. Through Jean-Luc Young. Les Transformations. English Revised Translation. LMF.